Congratulations! You and your students are on your way to better tennis with Billie Jean King's iCoach. On behalf of Lenny Schloss, a former top 10 American Tour player and president and founder of our company, my name is Peter Schmidt, the Director of Development. I'm looking forward to sharing some high-energy two-part drills that have been coach-tested and that students now love. But before I get to those, I need to give you a little background. Why would world-famous Billie Jean King ever put her name on a ball on a stick? In all these years, other than her name on the U.S. Open Tennis Center, she has stayed away from any commercial endorsements. Well, the answer is actually simple. It's her passion to help grow tennis, and her belief that the iCoach holds the answer to more sweet spot hits. Let's listen to Billie Jean herself as she explains why the iCoach works.
Woo! Billie Jean, we all know the sweet spot matters, whether you're a pro tour player or a beginner or an amateur. What is the secret behind the iCoach?
The secret is, when it comes to hitting the sweet spot, it's the last 3 feet that really count. After 20 years of research, we know that 50% of all the balls hit on the professional tennis tour never hit the sweet spot. That number rises to 90% for recreational players. That means the pros and the weekend warriors are not reaching our full potential. Using the iCoach point of contact system, 5 to 10 minutes a day can help you improve your sweet spot hits in 17 different shots and make you a better player. The Billie Jean King iCoach can improve players of any age and level, kids to pros, and that's why I love this amazing tennis system.
And Billie Jean also knows the people who can make the biggest difference in how tennis succeeds and grows. It's the coaches. That's right. What exactly does that mean, the 2-second difference? Well, believe it or not, the total time the ball spends on your strings in a match is 2 seconds. Hard to believe, but of course, that means all those tiny contacts are very important in determining the outcome of a match. We all know the feeling when our power flows through the racket because of where the ball lands on the strings. As Billie Jean says, the sweet spot matters. I'm sure we'd all agree we'd rather the ball land on the strings like the racket on the right, but look at the stats on how often the ball is landing off-center like the racket on the left. Even the pros miss the sweet spot half the time. If you don't believe me, see for yourself. By the way, we sometimes call that head shifting. Most coaches understand the kinetic chain. When one body part moves, it impacts all the other body parts. So if the eyes and head shift, the player can no longer be as accurate and will usually miss the sweet spot. The system you just bought can change that, and you'll see how much more frequently you and your students will be hitting the sweet spot. The problem happens in the last 3 feet. This is where there is a transition. The ball is coming in, and we're about to send it away. And if we don't complete task number 1, we have problems. Here's the thing. It's a human reflex to look up while hitting a tennis ball, or any ball for that matter. And you might say, well, then we're doomed. Well, actually not, and here's why. We can create a habit that is stronger than the reflex. The amazing thing is all it takes is repetitions. And that's why this machine was created. Before we get to some great high-energy drills, let's just leave you with a look at perfection. Perfection, of course, is, to us, defined as Roger Federer. The ball is leaving. His eyes are at the back of the contact point. Now let's just look at a few more videos of Roger in slow motion.
You will not see 30-40, a forehand struck better than this. Ever. That was perfect.
No introduction needed here. Without question, one of the best the game has ever seen.
It makes this game look so ridiculously easy.
Perfect balance, never injured, the model of consistency.
I mean, you could put ballet music to.
Well, now that you have some background, let's get into the how-to of using your point-of-contact training machine, Billie Jean King's iCoach. In a moment, you're going to see many drill ideas. The key to our drills is using the iCoach while at the same time working on agility, speed, timing, footwork, tactics, and more, while doing so in balance. We'll be starting with group drills before we look at how to use the iCoach for a private lesson. So let's get to the group drills right now. Let me mention this here. Many coaches will use a drop feed when trying to keep it simple for teaching technique. They've done this because they're trying to minimize the difficulty for the student. Well, I've got great news for you. Even easier and better than a drop feed for technique is a perfectly still ball. You can do this on your iCoach, and it eliminates the problem of multitasking, which slows down learning. It seems simple enough to do in a private lesson, but how do you make the ball stop still for a group lesson? By stopping it. In this first video, you're going to see how Lenny, using his racket, stops the ball, then holds and molds the students to field technique instruction. Then you'll see him hustling this group through very quickly so that everyone is constantly moving, but everyone is also hitting a still ball. Let's look at that right now with Lenny.
Good. Work to leave your eye right at the contact point. Good. Leave it right there. Good. Right there, Scott. Good. No, don't start away that quick. That's better. Stay in there a little longer. Good. So I can check it out. Hang in there. Good job. Get to your position. Hold for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Looks good. Gary, go. Get to your position. Keep running. Hold it. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Just step a little more. Good. Good. Peggy, go. Get to your position.
This is the time to put all your instruction, your mechanics, your techniques, hips, shoulders, footwork, grips. All of these things can be done when the ball is still. They can memorize it much faster and feel it while you are actually giving them the instruction and the ball not flying away.
Hold right there. Just stand up a little bit taller. Good. That's it. Okay, good. Go. Now we got it. Next one. Go. Now we're getting a solid hit. This ball. 1, 2, 3. Let's hit it. The next time we'll get it. 1, 2. No, you're looking wrong spot. Yes, go. Yes. No. All right. This is forward. No, you're looking forward. That's good, Buzz. No, you're looking up while you're swinging.
Remember, teaching technique doesn't have to take long, and before you know it, you can get to challenging and exciting drills that mimic real tennis. So now you'll see the iCoach using it with a moving ball. You can read the tips here, but let me quickly highlight a few key things before we show you some drill ideas. To start the ball moving on the iCoach, you push the ball down toward the back. That is position 1. The ball then flies all the way forward. That is position 2. The ball then rebounds, and as it comes back, it flies through the spot it originally started, which is position 3, which means the ball came across the crossbar you'll see at the base. To make solid contact, players need to hit on 3. So now let's look at a few drill ideas. The drills you're about to see are the first component in our 2-part drills. Use any one of these drills as the first part before having your students go right after to live ball while counting solid hits just as they did on the iCoach. Make this fun and competitive and see your players more focused on the ball, engaged, and pumped for every shot.
So here's a cool drill. Notice where the 2 machines are. This is one's for the approach, one's for the volley. So, well, hell, I can feed a ball and do that. Exactly. But you will not be able to get their balance and their timing as quickly because the ball is not flying away. Their head stops. So you can see after this gentleman hits, he is working on recovery, going backwards. In tennis, you have to be able to go all different directions within a split second. And you can tell your parents this because what I'm going to be showing you is these people are working on forward movements, spacing, and then backward movement patterns in footwork, forward and backward. Take a look. He's working on recovery footwork, and the guy coming forward is working on moving towards the ball. Not many people move forward. Now these kids are working on lateral movement, spacing. Then he's got to work on his agility around the ball. Then he's got to come up and get to this ball before the bounce of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So they're synchronizing a rally.
Oh, man. That's
2 players are hitting at the same time. So now he's got to come up and he's got to work on his inside-out footwork. The other kid's working on their lateral movement. So you've got lots of footwork being worked on. So you set the machines up wherever you want, but notice that they must get to every ball as it comes across that crossbar. If they hit it before it comes across, they'll miss hit. So now we're going to look at another drill. So it's a little fun competition, 3 to 6 minutes. Which is the best team that can get the most solid contacts, and the ball is always being hit on a 1, 2, and 3. That ball's got to come across. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. If he hits on 2, he's going to miss. Now, this is a cool drill. He's going for the world's record. These two, so you got 3 people playing. He's trying to see how many balls he can get to in a row, hit solidly, and the world's record is 22. And so he's competing, and they are working on lateral footwork. He is working on speed, agility, and anticipation, meaning where is that next ball going to be? He has got to react with his eyes, and nothing else is going to help him. So now he runs all the way over here. He's got to get to this one on 3. He makes it. Now he's got to turn, and he's got to find the next ball and get to that ball on 3. 1, 2. Did he make it? Yes. This one is 3 machines. On the back one, I'd like to think that what he's working on is taking the balls earlier, moving forward on the baseline. Not laterally, but backing up and moving forward. Nadal was really almost back to the fence for a while, and now their coaches have moved him up to say, move up forward, take it sooner, take it sooner. That's what this would drill. These two are working on lateral footwork movement. They're how to cover the baseline and move quickly and get in position for balance. She is working on her volley footwork to be quick and shorten up her stroke and be able to work on her agility around the machine, okay? And I'm out there doing nothing, just coaching. But when I say switch, watch what's going to happen. Now everybody she has got to fly back and get to that ball. That's like a lob over her head, and it's going to bounce. And that's going to be the 1, 2, and she is only thinking about, I've got to get back there before that ball passes the crossbar on 3. I got to be waiting for it. And this has got the same problem. I've got to get up here on 3 before that ball comes across the bar. I've got to get all the way up there and make a perfect volley. This person did it. I can't see whether she did it or not, but I can tell you one thing. The machine is driving her to get back there, to not let her teammates down. And they're having fun because they're competing. So now look at this. Bring your adults out here. Hey, let's have a cardio day. I want to show you guys something. And after they do this, you now notice, do you have 3 machines being hit, working on agility. She's working on forward movement. He's going through his split step. Then he's going to have to, so that all of the dynamics of footwork. But here's a good use of 4 machines. You got 8 people competing. Look at the energy that's out there right now. It's crazy. The energy. And they're not bored. Trust me, they're not bored. What are these team on the right? They are keeping score. They'd better be hitting solid. The team on the left, they are keeping score. They've got to get back and keep their score. And if they let each other down, it's teamwork. Nobody's letting each other down.
There's so much more to it than I ever dreamed. So that's great.
Yeah.
Also, just so you know, we have created a coach's drill booklet that has many of the drills that you just saw. All right, next we're going to go through what we suggest for a great private lesson. Again, using the still ball so there's no multitasking and your student can absorb your verbal technique instruction faster using biofeedback. Then we'll go to the moving ball. Remember, hit on 3. Then I'll show you how to show a student when it's time to look up and get ready for the next ball. So they look up on 4. And finally, after only a few minutes working with the eye coach, we'll go back to the fed ball to see if it actually did make a difference. Now, to be honest, in this video, Lenny didn't make any real technique changes in the student. He did, however, get her to feel the difference between head still and head shift, which does impact balance. So here he goes.
So first I just want to check out your balance in your swing. So I want you to swing half speed, and let me just check out your balance and hold it for 10 seconds. Okay, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, good. Okay, now I want you to do the same swing one more time, a little smoother, and hit it one more time. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this time I want to do something a little different. When you finish your swing this time, I want you to leave your eye right where the ball was while I count to 10. And I want you to see if you feel any difference in your balance. Okay, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Feel the difference? Okay, now do the older way. Shift your head forward. 1, 2, 3. Now leave your eye here for 3 seconds. Go ahead, finish your swing. Does that feel more balanced? Okay, that's the most important piece. Point of contact is your head and your eye stops for a tenth of a second. Will change everything you do in your game.
So now that we've got her balanced, let's advance to the moving ball. And this is really where we are teaching when to swing so they hit the sweet spot. To get solid hits, she's going to need to hit on 3.
It makes sense.
All right, so now we're going to practice the timing for that. The timing is simply counting to 3, and this will be 3. We're going to work on your ability to track the ball all the way into your racket. So watch me for a second. 1, 2, 3 is when it comes across this bar. I don't want you to hit the ball on this side, hit on this side. This is imbalance. This is Roger Federer. Okay? So when it comes across the bar, tell me if you hit it. Tell me if it comes across. Go. 1, 2, 3. Did you hit it when it came across the bar? Good. 1, 2, 3. Did it come across?
Yes.
Good. 1, 2, 3. Now you've got 3 in a row. Wonderful. Now do 5 in a row on your own and tell me how many feel solid. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. How many felt very solid right in the sweet spot out of the 5? What percent?
I think they all did.
100%?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Let me give you a statistic. 1 out of 10, 90% of the time at the Pro Tour level, they're mishitting. They're shifting. We just finished the study. You now can get what the pros have get. So this is the problem now. So let's do 10 more and see how you get, and then I'll feed you some balls. This is the most important. So 10 more. 1, 2, 3. Keep going. Move around and get a good workout. Move your feet around. Good. Move around just like you're a tennis player. Half speed, but full speed with your feet.
Okay, of course, in real tennis, we're required to look up to get ready for the next ball in the point. This means look up on 4. Now you're going to notice Lenny catches the ball as it comes back after her hit. That is about 1 to 3/10 of a second, and it also means that the ball is still only halfway to the net.
So the goal now is to practice this. When to look over, I'll feed you some balls, but this is the repetitions you want to get into your body. When your head moves, you lose your balance. Simple as that. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so now we have to practice when you're going to look up, right?
Okay.
So there's a tenth of a second where your head stops and then looks. And that's the balance point we're working on. So this time when I hit it, when you hit it, when I catch it, then I want you to look up. Okay? So 1, 2, 3. That's it. That's your tenth of a second. This is 3/10 of a second. So in the math, just that you'll know, that's 36 feet away. At the speed you're playing, every tenth of a second, the ball's moving 6 feet. So if you stay still for 3/10 of a second, the ball still is only halfway to the net.
Right.
So there's plenty of time to be on balance, and this changes everything. Make sense? Okay, so now you hit it, and I'll catch it, and you can look over. The ball is halfway to the net. Go ahead again.
Oh, I went too soon.
Very good. Yes.
No.
And that's how fast, within 6 minutes, you start to feel what they call it the kinetic chain, what balance feels like. So when you lose it, you can start to practice this at home. And now you have to look over after 3. 1, 2. Yep. Yep.
All right, well, here comes the test. You spent a few minutes on the eye coach, and now it's time to see if she can transfer that to real tennis balls. As you'll see, she does, but let me give you some warning. This is only temporary. To make this more permanent, she is going to need to get in 5 minutes of daily reps off court to make that transformation. This is where you can help your students take your instruction to the next level. Enough on that. Let's watch and see how she did.
After only a few minutes working on the eye coach, take your student back to the live ball. Make certain their focus is now only on their target. Film again and watch the excitement when your instruction flows effortlessly as their balance allows the kinetic chain to do its work.
We're going to take a look at what happened before and after. And this was the before on the left and on the after, and you're going to see this is just before contact. This is that 1/10 of a second. See the 0.99? 1/10 of a second. Now you're in contact. And you can see the difference between the left
and the right. Look at the leg extension, the drive.
Yeah, look at the head. It's
Yeah. How this foot is already coming up too much. So now you're getting all the benefit of the athletic skills, and that stroke looks completely different. That's the one you paid for, and that's the one you're going to stop doing.
Well, by now I'm hoping that you're itching to get out on court and use your iCoach. Now let me ask you one more favor. Can you please stay through this final segment, because it will help you introduce your student to using the iCoach properly and will save you and your student headaches from mishaps like broken strings when used improperly. So here's Lenny with those tips.
This has been designed from a Brain Institute to make sure that we provide the simulation as closely as possible to a live ball play. They've designed the arm to be an average of a 1 second interval between contacts. Why is that important to have a 1 second interval? The red ball player being 7 feet away, tossing the ball about 5 miles per hour is 1 second. Red ball training can be done at point of contact. A live ball player from baseline to baseline, an average of 60 miles per hour, that is 1 second. The average time between the average tossing and baseline is an average of 1 second. So they have designed for us a machine that can be used for red ball point of contact training all the way up to a 60 mile an hour level of play, and can be done at home so that they feel like they're actually being able to play tennis in a rally, so that they can practice point of contact training as closely as possible. The machine parts are critical to the performance of point of contact training. Let's go through them so you understand what they are and how to take care of them. The ball must be changed about every 12 hours so that they have the feel of contact of a real ball on their strings. This will last about 12,000 hits. Every 12 hours, change the ball. Every 50 hours, this 1 second interval is critical that this machine is changed every 50 hours on the arm. It lasts about 50,000 hits. That's 1,000 balls an hour. Every 50 hours, change the arm, because it's going to begin to slow down. Over the course of a year, every 100,000 feeds, so somewhere between $75 to $90, you're going to have a personal assistant who's feeding hundreds of thousands of balls for you, and you're going to be changing these parts for about 70, 80, 90 bucks, not that much more. So the third component, this disc. This disc is set up so that if you have a high performance player, they can whip the ball and it will come right back to the point of contact and be able to give them the training that they need up to that maximum miles per hour. Now, the last 2 points are critical for you to understand in terms of maintenance and safety. Safety. We have string guards to protect string breakage. We know strings can break on anything. When someone warms up, make sure they warm up half speed. These muscles, like all the others, when they warm up, they must hit very softly, at least 15 in a row, or 10 or 15, 10 out of 15 in a row, so that they can get the feel of their point of contact before they start to speed up. There should be no whacking on these machines. This is a sensitively timed machine, and if it's whacked on and you start to break the rhythm, you're going to have to replace this arm. So everyone warms up at half speed to prevent string breakage and also to get their eye time. Finally, when you take this machine out every day, once a day, tighten the parts up so that everyone is working at exactly the way we want. These need to be tightened every day, meaning every 1,000 hits. Tighten the bolts. So just beginning the day, like anything else, tighten them up, go out and take your personal assistant and have a good day with your training. This little friend of mine over here is something I want to add into you guys. Because we're now hands-free during our training, we can now circle around Julianne and all your students, and I can be videotaping exactly what I want her to see, and I can tape her before and after. I can then show her the videotape of what she looked like before and after, and where the golf pros have been getting $200 and $400 an hour for their lessons because they show videotape, we can now be hands-free and also be showing videotape. So it's a really cool thing. These tripods are 40 or 50 bucks, and now we can be able to give Julianne her segment to take home, or the kids can have their segment to take home, and you can have thousands of kids because they're all coming in here feeding for me, and so it gives us a great deal of flexibility to be a little different and to add a new segment into teaching of tennis. Thank you.
Well, by now you should have a better idea on how to use this powerful tool to make your job as a coach easier and the improvement of your students faster. I do have one more little trick to share with you. This is how you can use your iCoach to show your students something about the serve, more accurately, the serve toss. Check this out.
There's a rhythm. You can toss, finish, and then look. And that keeps your eye at the contact really well. Put it up there, finish, then look. Toss, finish, then look. You do this at home, you're really practicing where to toss and when to look over. Toss, finish, then look over. Your eye up? Yeah. You can see the blur of your racket, you're focused. Can you see the blur?
Well, thank you again, and I hope to hear back from you. Now go hit the sweet spot.